But you would.
Thank you. On behalf of Public Works, Community Services, and Intergovernmental Relations, we have no items under Board of Equalization. We have a total of 5 items that are under Environmental Services. Are there any questions? So, I see David. Okay. So, select. Anyone have any questions? Seeing none, the chair will entertain a motion. Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. There are no other reports under the other departments. Thank you. Payments.
Community development, health services, community outreach, still all the way down to the Department of Community Services.
Good morning, Commissioners. The 6 items that we have today are all lien releases. All these mortgages have been fulfilled as part of our home program. Move up to 6.
Second.
First and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I have 3 community grants.
Second.
Then first and second, all in favor, say aye. I would like to ask for a resolution for Mary Jackson. She was a part of, she's actually a foot soldier, one of the original foot soldiers. She passed last week. I can just mention a couple of things. It was a record service that she did to the community. She was one of the original foot soldiers that marched in 1963 to Newberry Fairs, and she was actually one of the ones that was actually arrested and then documented. She was also arrested after the bombing of 16th Street in jail. All of this is documented, and she also served on the HAB board, and she was a true civil rights leader. And I would like to put a motion on the floor to give her a resolution.
I know we did proclamations. We did. What are the circumstances by which we do proclamations?
We have done that for folks who we honor and passed away. I will specifically show that.
But I'm just saying, as a proclamation,
Years of service.
no, here's where I'm going, is that as a proclamation, more notable than a resolution. Well, what is the difference?
A resolution is something that you want to adopt in terms of policy protocol. A proclamation is just something that you acknowledge and recognize as something that's done.
Well, proclamation seems to be more suitable in this purpose.
How about just say proclamation or resolution? I'm coming in a minute, so I want to get your mind on it in a minute.
So,
We got a resolution or proclamation?
We got a resolution.
Resolution for a longtime lawyer of Jefferson County and the present members of this commission passed away last year.
should be a proclamation.
And the reason why I was asking is because typically we do resolutions, and I've never heard, since I've been here, about proclamations. That's why I want to know what was the difference in the two.
I think they've been interchangeable.
But if one seems to be more hierarchical than the other, then I would think that Ms. Jackson would apply in that regard, and what Commissioner Bowman is speaking of as well.
Proclamation has statements, and whereas a resolution has conditions, whereas certain things are performed, and therefore you now recognize, now therefore be a result. The proclamation is deeds, and on behalf of the Jefferson County Commission, we commend the person for these deeds and recognize them in a certain way.
So you're saying one has preambles and the other does?
You know, that we don't need.
Technically,
I said I got it.
Yeah, you got it.
So the proclamation is for
What, yeah.
need to.
You'll need to change.
I don't need to change anything, make a motion.
Just write it
All right.
All right, Minister, that all up? Go ahead.
All right, then I won't do that first.
All right, how we want to do this?
No, that one first.
Well,
You did find out.
well, we'll just sign it now and then Mike can give it to you. Okay.
He'll have it today. We'll have it.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, but even if she didn't have the original signature, she can always put a stamp, so. I would good, so you don't have to rush to get it done, but.
We got one proclamation.
We don't. Yeah, just come back. All right, administrative and, infrastructure. Roads and transportation has 9 items. Chris, good morning.
Good morning. Know what you done?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. County attorney, 3 ayes.
One is the personal injury settlement, and you've got a confidential memo on that. The other is a contract with Custom Fit Security that does process serving investigations as needed, and the other is minutes.
There we go. Take a motion to move to.
Move the items.
We have a motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next year, county manager have deferred compensation for Nationwide. This affects all of our employees. Cal, do you want to explain that and I'll
So commissioners, employees have an option for what's called a 457 plan, where they can put additional funds into a retirement account that's pre-tax. And then, past, we've had 5 companies that manage those funds. And we've hired a fiduciary financial advisor to look at that and analyze it and come back and recommend, improvements. And I'd also like to thank Commissioner Stevens with Masters in Finance. He has been invaluable. We've negotiated down, having 5 companies do it made it very difficult. 4 companies made it difficult to negotiate their fees. So we're recommending only having Nationwide as the provider, and we feel like that'll make us much more efficient. We were able to negotiate the fees down almost 50%, and we think that'll save the employee, whoever's investing, it'll save about $200,000 a year. And there were some nuances to it, and thank you, Commissioner, if you got any comments, and we don't necessarily have to do this week. The sooner we can do it, the better, but we can, this is for the best of all of us, so hopefully we got the best we can get. I'm excited about it, and ready to get it done, so.
Yeah, well, these negotiations began when Mr. Tellis was still here. And we worked to, most of the money was in the Nationwide fixed account. And back in 2018, maybe 2019, they wanted to change that and reduce the amount of guaranteed income that they gave you on your fixed account. It had been 3.5% for years and years and years and years. And that is a walled off percentage that says that's all, no matter what happens, you're gonna get your 3.5%. But when you get near retirement, that's something that you depend on. And that's something that the management team and me to a lesser extent work to make sure that you maintain that. So in 2018, or 2019, let's see which one. We did some changes to the nationwide plan, and we accepted what they considered their option 3, which handled that guaranteed minimum interest rate, GMIR, of 3.5%. And that's net of fees. Okay? There's no fees that comes off of that 3.5%. So if you're expecting, if you're near retirement, you're expecting that is now walled off. They have also now walled off the plan that they changed that with. So it's a 283, same deal, just less interest. So if you want to choose that, but you can choose anything within the nationwide portfolio in order for you to be gone. I appreciate Cal allowing me to do that because it can amount to a great deal of money, especially if you're depending on that for your retirement savings. And it does make a difference. So based on what I've seen, okay, and with the understanding that those 2 items are walled off with a guaranteed minimum interest rate, GMIR, I would recommend that we go ahead and vote. Move that. Have a motion.
So moved.
All in favor say aye. Aye. I have board appointment for Mount Olive Fire District for Ashley Brooks. Okay. Anybody?
Yeah.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Good night. Thank y'all.
Finance, Ms. Dixon.
Good morning, Commissioners. We have our normal items 1 through 7, the unusual demand report, our encumbrance report, the purchasing agenda report, and the purchasing exceptions report. Do we have any questions on any of those items?
Do I have a motion? No motion, second. All in favor, please say aye.
Under Budget Management Office, we have our multiple staff development, our individual staff development, no information items this week.
Do I have a motion? Motion is second. All in favor, please say aye. Thank you. Developmental services, let's go to Z 240010.
Yes, sir. This is a case that was out on Palmy Village Road. It's a request to go from this section split zoning of property, agricultural and industrial park to light industry. Yesterday afternoon, the applicant did email and withdrew the case. So this one we will need to call, but we'll just need to note in the minutes that the case was withdrawn by the applicant.
This was one we just had, wasn't it?
Sir?
This one we just had, right?
No, this one just recently went through planning and zoning commission.
But it's not the same one?
No. This is anything that has gone before the commission.
Okay. All right.
So
Item
again,
one
that
is
case
withdrawn by the applicant.
Yes, sir.
All right. Z 240009.
Yes, this is a request for go from A1 to RG for a garden development out in the McCalla area. They're proposing 59 lots out on this property that is just, it's a little over 12 acres. It does comply with the policies of the land use plan. As you can see from the surrounding area, it is slightly more dense than the developments, one to the north and then also to the west, that's along Eastern Valley Road, Carroll Cove, which, again, I'll pass this out here. So we did receive some letters of opposition from the neighborhood and some of the adjacent property owners as well. We did take a look at the traffic just because we know that there is a concern, especially along Eastern Valley Road, particularly in the morning and evening time, the peak traffic time. What we found was that the level of service is actually fine with the property the way that it is, and there's not any sort of thing that would be warranted. They would have to submit, if it were to be approved, a traffic study that would have to be approved by the county traffic engineer as well. Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend approval with some conditions. One, that the architecture of the homes be in character with the surrounding neighborhoods. and then 2, that a privacy fence be installed on the south property line. We're adjacent to agricultural property. Staff has actually requested to modify those. One, to change the language regarding the privacy fence, because we've had some issues with drainage in the past with the privacy fence. Then we changed that language to the visual screening with buffering mechanisms shall be required on the south property line where adjacent to a wind zone as compatible with pocket wind drainage. And 2, that sidewalks be provided to the internal development along Eastern Valley Road, and that is because this property is identified along a roadway where we're looking to change some infrastructures to have more pedestrian and bike along Eastern Valley Road in this spot, according to the Jefferson County bike pedestrian plan, which again, because we're commissioned at some point in the near future for adoption.
Michael, what's the difference? Excuse me, Joe. I have a question. Go ahead.
Sure thing. Forgive me, this is some letters of opposition that we've received since we.
What's the density you make it the same as your neighbors? How many different houses?
It would result in probably a loss of probably 5 to 10 lots.
And is that the main complaint that we're receiving without living development?
Yeah, density, house size, again, comparable architecture that for what's around it. And again, we realize the Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend that particular condition. However, that's very subjective and difficult to enforce without crossing the line of being somewhat arbitrary and capricious. And so that's why we've taken that off as part of our staff recommendation.
I've been kind of known to the arbitrary reasons.
Well, yeah, architecture according to who and what. I mean, Carroll Cove may have some siding, may have some brick. Cheshire Park may have siding, brick. I mean, and then you have the remaining agricultural lots that are there as well. And so I mean, again, it just opens. I think it opens us up for legal scrutiny if we were to enact something like that.
I'm in favor of the subdivision if it maintains the density of its neighbors. I'm not real big about
Well, like I said,
increasing that density to where it's not congruent with what's going on in the neighborhood. And I think that's where the neighbors, they don't mind. They understand that progress is coming, but they want that progress to be something that's orderly and look like they do. So,
okay,
I would put that in a motion or in a condition.
all right, are we going for the density of like Cheshire Park to the north? Are we going more to Carroll Cove or some sort of hybrid? We can come up with some language.
Yeah, and that's your job. And
well, like I said, I'm asking for guidance. So we look at something in the middle.
what we need to do now is to understand the intent. And their intent is to make money. So what I don't want to hamper them to the extent that they can't make money. But what I do want to do, I want to be able to please those neighbors to where they're satisfied that they're going to get houses that are similar to theirs.
There was additional information provided, Commissioner, and I'm sorry, I don't think that Michael received it in time for this meeting. And what it is an illustration of an architectural rendering, if you will, of what the residential structures will look like, along with the value of the structures.
Yeah, I've printed it up. That's what I just passed. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then additionally, what was prepared by Development Services Director Joshua Johnson was a level of service for the adjacent roadway. Can you just go back to that previous slide? And maybe Josh will elaborate more than me. The level of service that was there. So the existing level of service for this roadway is 9,829, which is a level of service C. This roadway does not fail in terms of capacity unless and until it exceeds 22,400 traffic counts. And Josh, you prepared this report, so would you like to, am I correct with that?
Yeah, Commissioner, so this is just really a kind of a high-level transportation impact of what these new units may yield in terms of new traffic based off of international or institute of transportation engineer studies that they've done. But if the concerns about density, you know, and surrounding properties, yes, we'll still have traffic generated, but you can still caveat that to recommend that it's more in line with the adjacent properties.
So density
International
level,
study, you may have public transportation getting it real hard, so, you know, I don't know.
Yes.
What I'm working on now is to make it look like the neighborhood without increasing the density. And I think it's something that, you know, we've got a public hearing coming Thursday.
Yes, sir.
I'm okay bringing it to the public hearing, but I would like to see what you have and feel comfortable and let these neighbors feel comfortable before we vote on it. So we'll have a public hearing on it and then vote possibly, next meeting.
Okay. And like I said, we could come up with some language or some standards for the density.
Standards for making these folks feel comfortable and you understand this is one of the highest growing areas in the county. And you want to make sure that it grows in the right way.
My question too was, you've got 12.2 acres, and that's 4.91 houses per acre. Man, y'all gonna share bathrooms with the neighbors?
Rooftop.
And also, what is a visual screen?
Visual screen, it could be vegetated buffer, it could be, you know, we could talk about privacy fences and everything else, but again, we don't wanna preclude any sort of engineering that may need to go into the site, because we do see where the drainage is coming right there, and the privacy fence is up here. So we're talking about the visual buffer, we're talking trees, shrubs, that sort of.
That's even shrinking your acreage further.
That's
right,
true.
For those,
That is true. And then again, we were working with the applicant, last thing I'll say on this, we were working with the applicant with regards to things like fire code, so they did install an egress for fire service in addition to the road that they're proposing as well. And that's all in accordance with the international fire code. We did work with them on getting that.
I have another question, but it's illegal, and I'll take it up with the attorney.
What is the most of, the complaints that they have?
It is about density, there's some uncertainty about the type of housing that will be there, and what sort of materials there will be, if it will be comparable square footage. Questions like that is what's coming from the opposition.
Who's building these,
The builder, I'm not sure, we've been working with the engineer for this.
Okay. Let's see.
I'm sorry, if I can just make